All right. Hello, everybody. I want to make a video talking about the Iran war demands, which each side has for each other, right? So, what are the U.S.'s demands? What are the Iran's demands? And uh, eventually, this will be. I'll make another video of why this is going to take forever. This war. Why it's not going to be. It's not going to just be a 7-week war. It's going to be a multi-year war. It's going to last a very long time. I know there's a pause or a kind of sort of a ceasefire. Not really, but all right. Let's just get into it. So, yeah, so here are the U.S. demands. 15-point plan. It was hard. It was more difficult to find there. The United States demands. This was pretty much, there was an Indian newspaper that had them all. So the Lokmat Times. So, all right, so let's just dive into it. So, one, Iran must dismantle its existing nuclear capabilities. So, if anyone remembers what happened to Libya and Gaddafi, he gave up all his nuclear enrichment, all his nuclear stuff. He complied. I mean, he tried to play nice with the United States, and what happened to him? Yeah, he got impaled. He got sodomized by I think a katana or a knife. So Iran is not going to surrender to the United States. They know that's their fate, right? Because North Korea has the same playbook, right? They're not going to give up because they know if they surrender to the United States, that's the end of their country, and just follow Libya. Iran must commit never to pursue nuclear weapons. So they have been doing that. I mean, they're not interested in nuclear weapons. There's a fatwa. It's basically against their religion. Trump keeps saying it's about the nuclear. It's not about the nuclear. They have no interest in pursuing nuclear weapons before the war. My guess is now that Trump has killed leadership, he's killed the Ayatollah. I would be very surprised if Iran does not get nuclear weapons. But according to John Mearsheimer, according to a lot of political science experts, that would actually make things safer, right? Either everyone should have nuclear weapons or no one should have nuclear weapons. So that would make things safer. But okay, next one, there will be no uranium enrichment on Iranian territory. Again, to me, that's same as number one. That would mean Iran would basically surrender to capitulate to the United States. I don't see them doing that. Yeah. Iran must hand its stockpile of some 450 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60% to the International Atomic Agency in the near future in a timetable agreed. So my understanding is before the war started, there was negotiations. They were willing to do this, which was actually an improvement over what Obama had agreed with the Iranians. So Trump could have had this, but he fucked that up. Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordo nuclear facilities must be dismantled. I thought Trump already did that. I thought that already happened. So remember the whole we bombed them into oblivion, we obliterated. Apparently, possibly he lied. I don't know. Number 6, the IAEA and the UN's nuclear watchdog must be granted full access, transparency, and oversight inside Iran. This is basically the Obama deal. So, Trump is saying how horrible the Obama deal was. Now he's basically want to go back to it, is what this sounds like to me. So Iran must abandon its regional proxy paradigm. So Iran has, yes, I mean, it supports Hezbollah. It supports the Houthis. There's different militias within Iraq that it does support. Guess what? The United States does the exact same thing. I mean, Al-Qaeda, ISIS are proxies of the United States. There's, we have an Al-Qaeda leader leading Iran. He's putting on a suit and tie and going to the White House. So why is it okay for the United States to support these groups, but not Iran to support their own proxy groups, right? Even in Yemen, we were supporting Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda, same people we went to Iraq war with, we're friends with them in Yemen because they do what we say, right? They do what the CIA says. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense for Iran. I don't. The double standard is completely obvious and ridiculous in my opinion. So I don't see this. This is obviously not going to happen. Iran must cease funding, direction, and arming all of its regional proxies. So that's kind of the same thing. They're not going to abandon their allies, right? They and Iran takes a heavy toll, right? They from their perspective, now you may disagree, but from their perspective, they are trying to protect the innocent. They're trying to protect the weak, right? Hezbollah is trying to free Lebanon of Israeli control, of Israeli land grabbing, and same with in Iraq, right? They've got militias that they're supporting in Iraq. That yes, they do fight the United States. They do fight, in Iraq, Iran's interest. Excuse me. Again, we do the same, but all right. The Strait of Hormuz must remain open and function as a free maritime corridor. So this is really the big one, right? So again, this is the United States in retreat. Our empire is in retreat. Okay, this is one. Not I wouldn't say actually Hormuz is not the most critical choke point in the U.S.'s empire, but it's close, right? It's probably the second most critical trade through affair, and Iran has taken control of it, right? And you have to understand from their perspective, they've been under the boot of Western imperial boot has been around their neck for 47 years with sanctions and stuff. So they've suffered greatly in the last 47 years with all these sanctions, and now they are emerging as basically a world superpower. I don't think they're there yet, but they now have control of an extremely important choke point in the world's economy, and they want to basically benefit from it, right? They've invested, they've suffered, so there's no fucking way they're going to give this up. And yeah, they get the opportunity to become a world power. Iran's missile program must be limited in both range and quantity, with specific thresholds to be determined at a larger stage. So again, this means basically they don't get to defend themselves, right? They get a tiny missile program that doesn't threaten Israel. Is really what this means. That's what this bullet point means, and it's not going to happen, right? Again, Iran has to basically submit and capitulate to whatever the U.S. and Israel wants. They're never going to do that. It's never going to happen. Any use of future missiles would be restricted to self-defense. In return, Iran would benefit as follows. Okay, so this is kind of the same to me. It's kind of the same bullet point, 1A, 1B. All right, their benefit is Iran would receive full lifting of sanctions and imposed by the international community. Okay, so now that they can do business, the U.S. would assist Iran in advancing its civil nuclear program, including electricity generation at the Bushehr nuclear plant. Okay, so yeah, these are benefits. By the way, Russia already helps them with this plant. Now they shut the plant down, is my understanding. They shut the plant down because of all the violence. But Russia and Iran have a joint venture. Basically, Russia, as a sign of friendship, they've helped build and have been running this plant for the Iranians. So what that really means is, you want to take Russia's foothold out away from Iran, or at least reduce it, and then bring in the United States presence. Again, this is essentially a full capitulation, a full surrender after what Iran's been through and what they've been preparing for this war for 21 years. They've been getting ready for this. Maybe some would argue 47 years, but they've been preparing for this fight. They're not going to give the United States a presence and give up their friendship with Russia. Maybe I'm reaching, but I don't think so. The so-called snapback mechanism, which allows for automatic reimposition of sanctions of Iran if Iran fails to comply, would be removed. So basically, they would, okay, we'll bring back sanctions if you guys don't play by what you agreed to. Okay. Obama backstabbed Iran. He was supposed to lift sanctions for agreeing to the JCPOA. My understanding is Obama backstabbed Iran and basically kept sanctions quietly, or asked people not to do business with Iran. So why, the United States treachery is deep and has a rich history. So why would Iran agree or believe that, the U.S. would comply? Now, the alternate argument is, okay, well, Iran's treacherous. They don't want to, they're a bunch of liars. Okay, maybe you're right. I don't think so, but maybe. So I don't know. Okay, let's talk about Iran's 10-point demands. So I found this in the New York Times. It was much easier to find Iran's demands. So yeah, an American guarantee of non-aggression with Iran. What this really means is the United States would have to leave the region. They would have to leave the Middle East, and which is kind of already happening. I mean, we have our 13 U.S. bases are abandoned or destroyed. Our Navy cannot get closer than 700 kilometers to the Iranian shore. So we are effectively, getting kicked out of the Middle East. So why would Iran, agree to the United States points? I don't know. All right. Number two, Iran maintains control of the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah, that for now, that's not going away. That's a foregone conclusion, pretty much. Absent, the United States, obliterating the entire country. But yeah, I mean, they've controlled it. They're from what I can tell, they're winning. Ending the regional wars on all fronts, including against Iran's allies, Hezbollah in Lebanon. I think that also means the Houthis. And I've seen some demands from Iran early on that the United States, or sorry, Israel would have to give back Gaza. They've taken control of, I think, 60% of Gaza since the October 7th, since the Gaza war. What this really means is the end of the Greater Israel Project, and that used to be like a crazy thing. Now it's like out in the open. The Greater Israel Project. Israel wants to control pretty much all the Middle East. So these 3 points, right off the bat, to me, show that this war is not gonna go away. It's gonna last a very long time. I don't see either side budging on these. These are huge points, right? Okay. Withdrawal of U.S. combat forces from all bases and positions in the region. To me, that's the same as item 1. Okay, agreed. Reparations to Iran for war damages. Again, this is from the New York Times. Yeah, Iran has sustained a devastating level of destruction, not only in its military sites, but to critical infrastructure, including pharmaceutical and steel plants, bridges, universities, and energy facilities. So, the United States is destroying a lot of non-military targets. Trump is even openly, we're going to, bomb them back to the Stone Age. We're going to destroy all their energy, whatever. We already know, they bombed, the United States bombed a girls' school. Everyone talks about that, but there's a lot of apartment buildings, police stations. There was city parks that were bombed. Iran, from what I can see, is for the most part, obviously not 100%. For the most part, they are keeping their strikes, their damage to military targets. And just as an aside, one reason the United States is full of shit, Trump and Hegseth are full of shit, is because they are bombing civilian targets. That tells you that they don't know what else to do, that they don't know to bomb. They don't know where the launcher sites are. They don't know where they don't know where the military sites are. They bombed enough inflatable planes and inflatable tanks that there's nothing else for them to bomb. So they're bombing civilian targets, which is war crime. These are war crimes. But yeah, Iran's like, fuck you guys. Like you're you're fucking up our country. We want payback, and I see where they're coming from. Again, this is a sign this war is going to last a very long time, because we're not going to agree to that. The United States is not going to agree to that. Acceptance of Iran's right to nuclear enrichment. Yeah, that's, again, as long as Iran is a threat to Israel, as long as they're not a submissive, actor, that they don't just roll over and submit to the United States, this war will not go away. Lifting of all primary sanctions on Iran. Number 8, lifting of all secondary sanctions on Iran. Yeah, I mean, the sanctions have been very devastating. Anyone should go Google Madeleine Albright's statement. Before we even invaded Iraq, we were credited with killing 500,000 children in Iraq because of our sanctions. I think John Mearsheimer, there's a study recently came out a few months ago or weeks ago that over the last 30, 40 years, the United States is we're credited with about 35 million deaths total because of our sanctions throughout the world. I think 2 billion people worldwide are under U.S. sanctions to at least to some degree. And what that is just economic strangulation. It's economic bullying. Economic, you do what we say, or we're not going to do business with you, and we're going to stop other people from doing business with you. So Iran's pretty sick of this shit, and they're like, okay, you guys started the war, let's take it to the mat, let's fight this out. And like I've been saying, it's looking like they're winning. So why would you give up, your chance of success? All right, number 9, termination of all resolutions against Iran by the Board of Governors, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Now, I'm not quite sure about this, but last June, the UN nuclear watchdog passed a resolution against Iran for the first time in 20 years, saying that Iran was not complying with its nuclear non-proliferation obligations, a move Iran condemned as political. So I don't know if Iran's lying here or if this is just another, ploy by the United States to make Iran look bad. I can't say, right? And then, number 10, termination of all United Nations Security Council resolutions against Iran. So, they just want to move on with their lives. They want the United States out. They want peace. They want, hey, stop attacking us. We'll stop attacking you. We'll do business with you. You do business with us. Let's just move on. But I maintain this whole war is really just because, Iran is one of the few countries that just will not submit to United States control and hegemony. It has nothing to do with nuclear, nothing to do with the nuclear nonsense. There's a lot of countries that have nuclear weapons or nuclear power plants, and we don't go bombing them. So the difference is Iran doesn't want to submit to the empire. So, all right. Thanks for watching. Appreciate a like and subscribe, of course. And the best thing to do in these times is to inform yourself, to keep yourself informed. And if you think I'm full of shit, please drop a comment. If you think I'm right, please drop a comment. If you have more information, I want this channel to basically be a forum of let's bring out information for everybody. Let's put all the information on the table, and then let's go from there, because that's my approach. That's how I live life. So thank you.